Okay, so in last few lectures, we have solved an example of a grid flow using IS code recommendations. Now today we'll take an example to design a grid flow using uh, this Rankines-Grashof methods. So the data, for example, is RC grid flow the RC grid flow for a hall of size 9 meter by 12 meter. The ribs are spaced 1.5 meter center to center in mutually perpendicular direction. The live load on the floor is 2 kN per square meter. Use M20 concrete and IP 415 steel. Analyze the grid flow by Rankines-Grashof method. For moments and shear. Design the floor completely. Sketch the details. Of reinforcement along the central rib. In short direction. Okay, so let us solve this. given data. So we have been given a hall size of 9 meter by 12 meter. Meter by 12 meter. Then the lips are spaced 1.5 meter center to center in mutual perpendicular direction. So it is an orthogonal square grid floor. Okay, and the spacing with spacing of ribs uh, rib spacing equals to 1.5 meters center to center. Then the live load is 2 kN per square meter. Made of concrete M20 and Fe415 steel. And we have to adopt the Jenkins-Grashof method to find the moments and shear force. Use Jenkins-Grashof method. Okay, so now let us draw the layout of this grid floor. We have it is 9 meter by 12 meter, so we'll have 6 bays in x direction and 8 bays along y direction. So let us draw them. out of the grid floor, let this be X, this be Y. So we'll have 6 bays at 1.5 meter center to center. Total is 9 meter. Same way along the Y direction, we have 8 bays at 1.5 meter center to center, which will be equal to 12 meter along the Y direction. Now, the first step would be to design the topping slab. So same as we designed in earlier example, here also we'll design the topping slab. Design of topping slab. So the size of topping slab will be 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter. That is our rib spacing in both directions. Okay. This will be 1.5 by 1.5. It is typical for all the grid lines. So here the Ly by Lx ratio is 1, same as earlier. Now the slab is continuous on all 4 edges. You can see it is continuous on all 4 edges. So from table 26, page 91, IS 456 2000 for continuous slab or for slab for continuous for slab continuous on all 4 sides. It is clause 24.1 note 2 page 39 IS 456 2000 for continuous slab the thickness of slab will be equal to Ly by 40. This for solid slab, for continuous slab, the L by D ratio is 40. That is in clause 24.1. So here Ly is 1500. That is 1.5 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 40. So this will be equal to 37.5 mm. So this is the thickness required based on deflection criteria. Thickness required based on deflection criteria. Now here the thickness will not be governed by deflection criteria because the thickness required is too small. So let us provide ATM thick topping slab since the reinforcement will be placed at the center. So we have the thickness now. Now the next step is to calculate the loads on the slab. So load calculation. So we have the load due to sulfate, and the sulfate of the weight slab will be 0.08, that is the thickness, times density of concrete. So that will be equal to 2 kN per square meter. Then we have the floor finish, which is assumed as 1 kN per square meter. So this will be 1 kN per square meter. Next, the live load, which is given to us, which is 2 kN per square meter. So the total load is equal to 5 kN per square meter. Therefore, the factored load will be equal to 1.5 times 5, that is 7.5 kN per square meter. Now we find the design forces. So from table table 26, page 91, IS 456 2000, the coefficients for bending moment are .032, this value. Negative bending moment at continuous edge, alpha x equals to alpha y equals to 0.032. It is same for both x and y direction. You can see for longer direction 0.032, for shorter direction also it is 0.032. That is for the case negative bending moment. At continuous edge. See, since the span length is very small, you can see it is 1.5 meter. The positive moment will not govern. So the negative moment will be the governing. So we'll be designing for the negative moment only. So mu x equals to mu y, which will be equal to 0.032. See, mu x and mu y equals to alpha x times w lx square, and mu y is equals to alpha y w times lx square. So it is 0.032 into w is 7.5 here, into lx square, that is 1.5 square. So this will be 0.032 into 7.5 into 1.5 square, that is 0.54 kilonewton meter is the moment. Okay, so let us check the depth required to resist the bending moment of 0.54 kilonewton meter. So we need the effective depth. Assuming 8 mm bar diameter, it will be 80 by 2, which is our total thickness of the topping slab, minus 8 by 2, that will be 36 mm. So the moment of resistance equals to 0.138 FCK BD square. We can do reverse also. We can find the limiting moment of resistance and compare it with this. So whatever the depth we have provided is sufficient. Or you can also use, instead of this, you can directly use D is equals to under root of mu link divided by 0.138 FCK B. So from that, whatever the depth you get, required D required, it is D required. If the provided effective depth is more, then it is okay. Or otherwise, you can calculate this way also. So it will be 0.138 into 20 into 1 meter into 36 square. So this will be equal to 3.58 or 3.577 into 10 to the power 6 Newton mm, that is equal to 3.577 kilonewton meter, which is greater than MUX equals to MUY, which is equals to 0.54 kilonewton meter. So the depth is, thickness is sufficient. Therefore, thickness is sufficient from bending moment criteria as well. From bending moment criteria as well. Okay. So now we have reached the thickness of the topping slab. Now let us find the reinforcements required. So reinforcements required in the topping slab. So reinforcement required, that is AST required, will be equal to 0.5 divided by Fy by FCK into bracket 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6. Now I am writing mu because MUX and MUY both are same only, divided by FCK BD square whole into BD. So that will be 0.5 divided by Fy is 415 divided by 20 into 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6 into mu, that is 0.54, that is the design moment, mu 0.54 into 10 to the power 6 to convert it into Newton mm, divided by 20 into per meter cube into 36 square, whole multiplied by 1000 into 36. So you will get the AST required 0.5 divided by 415 divided by 20 into 1 minus 4.6 0.54 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 20 into 1000 into 36 square into 1000 to 36. So the area of the steel required is 42.6 mm square. 42.6 mm square, which is much less. So let us find the minimum steel minimum steel, that is AST minimum. Since we are using Fe 415 grade, it is 0.12 of the total cross-sectional area, 0.12% of the total cross-sectional area. So 0.12 divided by 100 into 1000 into 80. So this comes out to be 96 mm square. So this will be the governing steel. Minimum steel will be the governing. So let us provide 6 mm at the rate 280 mm center to center. So if you provide the spacing at 200 center to center, then the AST provided will be equal to pi by 4 into 6 square multiplied by 1000, that is per meter width, and divided with spacing of 280, you will get the area of the steel provided. So that is pi by 4 into 6 square to 1000 divided by 280, that is 101 mm square, which is more than the required steel of 96, which is much, which is more than 96 mm square. So it is okay. Now we'll provide the same in both the direction. So provide this 6 mm bar in both direction, in both direction, because the moments in both the directions are same. MUX and MUY are same, and it is a two-way type slab. Okay, so with this, the topping slab is designed. Now our next step would be to design the ribs. So next is design of ribs, or we call it as beams. So first would be to size, is to find the size. So for size, we'll use the depth between, see, in the earlier class we have seen the depth required. We have seen some rules. The depth is between 1 by 20 feet to 1 by 20th of the span. So depth should be between, depth should be in between by 9000, that is 9 meter by 25, to 9000 by 20, that is between 360 mm to 450 mm. Okay, so our depth should lie in between this. So let us provide overall depth of 500 mm with effective cover to reinforcement of 50 mm. So therefore, the effective depth will be equal to 500 minus 50, that is 500 mm. Okay. But this effective depth is from the top of the slab, from top of slab. So the depth of rib will be equal to the total thickness 500 mm minus the slab thickness, that is 80 mm. So that will be equal to 420 mm So this is the depth of the rib, this is the overall depth, this is the effective cover, and this is the effective depth. So we can now find the width of the rib, the depth, then the width of the rib should be or should not be less than 420 by 4. So again, this is from our earlier thumb rules. So the width of the beam should be in between 1/3 to 1/4 of the depth. So this will be 105, around 105 mm. Let us say 100 mm, because we have to use the standard size, say 100 mm. So width of rib is equal to 100 mm. And the distance or we can say the clear distance between ribs, clear distance between ribs will be equal to 1.5 minus this width 0.1, so that will be 1.4 meter center to center. And also the number of hollow portions will be equal to the number of grid lines is 6 in this direction and 8 in this direction, so it will be 6 into 8. Actually it is 9 by 1.5, that is the spacing, multiplied by 12 divided by 1.5. that is 6 by 8. 6 by 8. So that is equal to 48 numbers. So we have such 48 hollow portions. Now let us sketch the rib, the beam. That is the this is the effective width of the topping slab. Uh, Effective width for this T girder. This is 80 mm thick. The width of the depth of the rib is 420. This is 420. The reinforcement is provided at an effective cover of 50 mm. So the effective depth is 450 mm. Okay. And the clear distance between the two consecutive ribs is 1.4 meter. This is B effective, which we will be calculating later in this example. So we stop here, and in the next class we'll find the loads on these rib beams, and then we'll use the Renkrans-Grasshoff method to find the moment shared uh, by beams in both the directions. Okay, and then we'll find the reinforcements required to resist that moment. So today uh, we have started with an example of a grid floor to be designed using Renkrans-Grasshoff method. We first design the top slab, which is of 1.5 by 1.5 meter with Ly by Lx ratio of 1. Using the clause 24.1, we found the thickness of the slab required from the deflection point of view. So it was 37.5 mm only. So we provide the nominal thickness of 80 mm thickness. Since we are providing the reinforcement at the center, uh, we our arrangement would be like this. This is the top of the slab, this is the bottom of the slab, and the reinforcement will be placed at the center. Here, this depth is 80 mm. Okay, now we have the dimensions of the slab. We can now find the loads. So self weight of the slab will be 0.08, that is the thickness, by times the density. So it is 2 kN per square meter. Floor finish is 1 kN per square meter. Live load is 2 kN per square meter. So total load is 5 kN per square meter. And factor load will be 1.5 times this total load. So that will be 7.5 kN per square meter. Then we find the bending moment coefficients from table 26, page 91, IS 456-2000. That is alpha x and alpha y equals to 0.032, which is for the case negative bending moments at continuous edge. Since the positive bending moment will be very less because the span is very small, so the negative bending moment will be the governing. So we are using the negative bending moment coefficients for both the directions x and y. So the moments in x and y direction comes out to be 0.54 Newton meter. Then the effective depth is calculated. The overall depth is 80 mm and the 8 mm bar is provided at the center. So the effective depth from the top will be 36 mm. So the effective depth is 36. Then we find the actually we now have to check the thickness from bending point of view as well. So either you can use this formula which will give you the thickness required and you can correlate with the actual thickness provided, okay, or else you can find the moment of resistance using the actual effective depth provided, and if this moment of resistance is more than the design moment, then it is okay. Both way are correct, whichever way is convenient to you, you can follow. So here the thickness required from bending criteria is also satisfied. So thickness is sufficient. Next we find the reinforcements. So the reinforcement required to resist the bending moment is 42.6 mm square, which is very less. So we find the minimum steel as well, which is 96 mm square. So the 96 mm square, that is minimum steel, is governing. So we provide 6 mm bar at 280 center to center. So the area of the steel provided is 101 mm square, which is again more than the required steel. So we provide this steel in both the directions, both in X and Y, since both the design forces are design moments are same in both the directions. Then we carry out the design of ribs, in which we first find the size. So the depth is usually kept in between span by 25 to span by 20. So that lies between 360 mm to 450 mm for this beam. So we provide the overall depth of 500 mm with an effective core of 50 mm. So the effective depth will be 500 mm from the top of the slab, and the depth of the rib will be 500 minus 80, that is 420 mm square. Then the width is assumed to be about the depth of the rib by 1/4 of the depth of the rib, so which is around 105 mm square. So we assume the width of the rib as 100 mm. So the clear distance between the ribs will be 1.5, which is the center to center distance between the ribs. This is the center line of the rib. This is the center line of this rib, and this distance is 1.5. And we then find the number of hollow portions, which will be used for calculating the self-weight of the grid floor. So we have such 6 hollow portions in x direction and 8 hollow portions in y direction. So total is 48 hollow portions. Okay, and this is the sketch of the rib beams. So we stop here, and in the next class we'll continue this example. We'll find the loads on this rib beams, and then we'll find the design moments on these rib beams using Renten's Grashof methods, and then we'll carry out the design of these T sections. Okay, if you have any doubt, we can discuss now. Any doubt in this?